Hey, it's me for my fourth and final installation of my little Conservapedia's Retarded series. If you're just watching this video, I'm talking about how Conservapedia is listing counterexamples to evolution, and as a 17-year-old high school senior explaining why they're wrong. If I can do this, imagine what an evolutionary biologist would be able to do, to explain. Anyway, this is the last section in the article. It's uncategorized, so let's go. Uncategorized. 1. Evolution would result in modern languages having one common ancestral language, and for nearly a century linguists insisted that there must be one. There is not, and linguists now accept that there are completely independent families of languages. Evolution does not say that there would be one common ancestral language. As far as I've heard, there has been only one, and that was evolving from cuneiform, which is a written language, and I don't know how it moved on from there. But there's nothing that says it should be just one language. There's no citation on that, so I'm just going to discard that argument. Pterosaurs. A scientist recently stated that they could not have flown, but why then did they evolve wings? Okay, first of all, one scientist is not the entire scientific community, and they evolved wings to fly, which they did. 3. No other animal exhibits religion. Far better explanation than random mutations is that humans were given the capacity to be religious by a loving God who wants a relationship with his creations. No, we are religious because we are able to comprehend the world, and we are creative, and we are able to make up stories about why the world is the way it is. I'm not even going to get into the whole loving God thing right now. Suffice it to say, there isn't one. Anyway. And we don't know that no other animal exhibits religion either, because we can't communicate with any other animals. Sure, no other animals have organized religion where they gather and sacrifice each other or anything like that, but you don't know what dolphins believe. Anyway, evolution requires that random mutations can cause one kind to change into another, but this has never been observed. Okay, I've explained this before. E. coli, mosquitoes, that's just a small scale. I'm sure if you gave it time, you would find some. And as an example of not quite full evolution, dogs and cats. Dogs would be a better example. There are, probably over 150 breeds of dogs, which, yeah, most of them can breed with each other, I know. But I'm sure if you continued to selectively breed them, you would find that they would not be able to breed with each other anymore, and thus would be considered new species. I mean, you get the idea. Polar bears and grizzly bears are able to produce fertile young with each other, which basically insinuates that they split not very long ago in the evolutionary time scale. So there's an evolutionary example of that. 5. The existence of two symmetrical kidneys, which are unnecessary in most people, lacks a plausible evolutionary explanation based on functionality alone. Because evolution falsehoods mislead most people into thinking they need their second kidney. The average waiting time for the organs from a deceased donor in the United States is 5 years. And 3,916 patients waiting for a kidney in 2006 died before one became available. I don't really know what that has anything to do with anything. If we evolved to have two kidneys, then we evolved to have two kidneys. That's just the way it is. Circadian phenomena. Internal 24-hour clock mechanisms of humans and other living beings define material explanation. Examples include how some people are unable to change the timing of their need for sleep each day, and how plants exhibit clock-like behavior regardless of their exposure to sunlight. In addition, there is a weekly clock cycle for many phenomena, which has a clear biblical bias but defies any materialistic explanation. Okay, internal 24-hour clock mechanisms of human and other living organisms can be explained simply by the fact that we have been living in an on a planet that works in a 24-hour cycle. That the fact that it's 24 hours is simply coincidental, but the fact that it's night and day is not, and that is why we evolved that way. Say we evolved to, or say a human thought there was a 3-hour day and a 3-hour night, and that was his circadian rhythm, then he would be waking and sleeping every 3 hours. But it doesn't work that way because we have evolved to be used to a 24-hour system. That's just the way it is. And I don't know of any cycle that works on a weekly basis, but there are also cycles that work on monthly bases with the moon, yearly bases, from the seasons, and ones that can't really be explained by the Bible, 13 and 17-year cycles like the cicadas you mentioned, pandas who only breed once in a lifetime, maybe twice. I mean, cycles are weird like that. It's not something you can explain religiously. If religion were as harmful as evolutionists claim, natural selection would have phased it out. No, it doesn't say that. There's no reason that would happen, but it continues, meaning evolutionists are wrong about both evolution and the supposed harmful effects of religion. I don't see how that makes sense. Scientists have found proof that the first chicken came before the egg. Okay, that's more of a philosophical question than an evolutionary one. That doesn't really have anything to do with anything. And speaking of which, they have reversed chicken genes to create teeth and longer tails, which means that those genes were there already, which means that, maybe they evolved from something with teeth and longer tails. So anyway, this has been me, a 17-year-old high school student, talking about conservapedia's article on evolution, and to me it's kind of laughably funny because, like I said, I'm 17, and I was able to not blow away, but discredit a lot of the arguments that most creationists use in general. I don't have any formal education in the area. I mean, I've read some books, and it's just kind of funny to me because people believe that stuff. I mean, it's just kind of sad. My suggestion to everyone really is just do a little research, just do a little reading, and you'd be surprised. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.